Greetings, random viewer. We all have our guilty pleasure game that we go back to sometimes, and mine is Diablo 2. And with the resurrected version coming out, I've been getting back into it. So this is not going to be a League of Legends video. Recently, I decided to check whether someone had completed the game without using any skills or abilities, because it sounded like a fun idea, and someone must have done it, right? Well, about that. So, to my surprise, no matter how, how, how much I looked, or, like, where I looked it up, to my experience, no one had done it. What I came across were a few articles from like 2015 and 2016 and 17 and 2009 even, of people attempting to get as far as they can with characters that are using no skills or stat points. However, no one had actually recorded it. And I even looked up YouTube. There was, of course, the Pacifist Paladin, where you don't attack anything, and that's a really fun thing that we can do. But this brings me to the question of, can you actually beat Diablo 2 without using any skills or abilities? Well, it's complicated. So these are the threads I came across. Apparently, people claim they have done it before, or at least some of them claim they at least got somewhere, but there's no actual confirmation of them finishing it. And also, the threads go cold after only a few posts. But um, don't worry, I am here in the Wisdom of the Bard channel to attempt to actually beat the game without using any skills. Also, shout out to Mitten Squad. If can you beat Diablo 3 without using any weapons? That's epic as fuck. Might try that with 2 as well. But yeah, as far as I can tell, no one's really done it before. So let's do it. So as a character, I picked my barbarian and named him Undead. I also decided to do this in hardcore because I'm stupid. Why a barbarian, you may be asking? Well, there's several good reasons for that. First and foremost, they start off with decent stats, like 30 to strength and 20 dex, 25 vitality as epic, and I don't need any energy, and they only start with 10. I'm not going to be using any mana. And second, they get 4 health points per vitality point, and that's going to be really crucial to my survival. I will also be using single player pluggy to store everything I find. So there are a few rules. Of course, I'm not allowed to use any skills or abilities. The only active skills I can use are basic attack, throw, town portal, and throw potion, since those are, my means of getting stuff done. I'm not allowed to put any skill points into any skill in the skill tree, regardless if it's a passive or active, so no masteries, nothing of the sort will be used in this run. The third one is I have to complete every quest in the game, both optional ones and mandatory ones. This is mostly for challenge purposes, and for any chance to cast gear is allowed because it's out of my control. I will allow that. Open wounds and crushing blow are also okay. Gear that gives certain spell charges is fine, as long as I don't use them, because I won't be using them. This is hardcore, so I'm obviously not allowed to die. Otherwise, the barbarian is deleted, so as far as I go. For normal difficulty, no mercenary allowed. This is actually something I decided later on in the run. It's not something that I planned for, but yeah, that pretty much covers all the rules. So here we are in Den of Evil. Of course, Act 1 is going to be a lot easier than, other acts. Once again, this is hardcore, so if I die, it's over. So it's basically I either do it or I don't do it. Because, getting resurrected is also an ability in my eyes. You get the superpower of getting back to life. Obviously, it's probably a lot easier on softcore, but I don't give a damn. So Den of Evil went quickly. It actually went pretty normally. The first few levels were pretty okay. I got the Cold Plains waypoint, I went back to the Den of Evil, I killed a bunch of stuff, leveled my dexterity and vitality a little bit so that I can hit stuff easier, and decided to dual wield since dual wielding is actually really good in the early game. That's another reason I picked the Barbarian. Yeah, gonna speed things up here a little, you don't need to watch all of this. So another reason I picked the Barbarian was because he could dual wield, and in the early game that's actually really cool because that means I can equip javelins, and javelins are epic. You can throw them, and the throw deals epic damage, you know, to the early game stuff, and Corpse Fire actually dropped me a yellow one, which is awesome. And I don't remember exactly what it does, but it pretty much made Act 1 easy as all hell. I should also mention that any gear that gives me like plus to masteries, I am strictly not allowed to equip because passive skills are also not allowed. The main reason I decided not to use the mercenary, here we are in the Cold Plains by the way, is because yeah, throw damage is obviously epic, and yeah, I got 2 javelins right now, so that's pretty awesome. I decided to use a bow in my offhand, mostly for fun. I thought range damage would be better, but I got bored of it quite quickly as it wasn't as fast as the javelins. But yeah, so as far as the rules are concerned, no items that give me plus to masteries, no mercenaries. And the reason I decided not to use mercenaries, since they're not technically using a skill, but it's not me technically using a skill, is because I decided that it would be too easy with a mercenary, you know? So here's where I find a really good jewel that gives me something along the lines of 20 poison damage over 5 seconds, which is crucial for my early game damage. And I actually think I end up using that jewel until the end of the game, since getting means of reliable sources of damage, yeah, it's 20 poison damage over 2 seconds, is yeah, it's really difficult. So I found a few of those during this run, luckily for me. I did end up wasting this one on this cap, unfortunately, but yeah, it added a ton of damage to my attacks, and I decided to do the cave. So yeah, about the mercenaries, it's just going to make the game a lot easier and make some of the challenges that I am going to face a lot easier in my eyes. For example, the Ancients, saving Anya, killing Diablo, Chaos Sanctuary and stuff like that, or even Andario, for Christ's sake. Everything is going to be easier with a mercenary. So I opted out of it. Here I am at Blood Raven, by the way. She wasn't too difficult to kill. I was just still sort of messing around here, having a little fun with the bow and stuff. But yeah, I just decided as soon as soon after I got her, I decided to kill her off in Tristram, the Act 1 mercenary, and then I just never purchased a mercenary again. So yeah, you're gonna be seeing that my red plus for the skills is always going to be active, and I will occasionally be showing off my gear, my stats, and the fact that I have, in fact, not equipped, or at least not put any hard points into skills, or any points at all into my skill tree. The goal of this run is to end this entire experience, I should say, without having a single hard or soft point in my skill tree. So yeah, killing Blood Raven was pretty easy, so yeah. I made it to Rakanishu and I just one-shot him. It's actually ridiculous how this yellow javelin stacks with the poison damage. Yeah. I'd also like to apologize for any sound cuts that you would experience in this video. They are due to me either clicking away from my windowed Diablo, or you know, kind of an editing issue that comes and goes, so some sound will be cut off here and there. So this is me doing the underground passage. We've all seen this. It's basically nothing interesting. I will try to only, you know, show you the most interesting things. So here I try to unsummon my mercenary because I don't want her. And after I realize that I can't really do it, since my goal is to complete every quest, and I can't turn in the Act 2 quest without getting a free mercenary. So I decide to do something else. I go to Tristram and I just kind of let her die. Otherwise, I don't think I really faced any challenges here. I obviously saved Kane, grabbed Wirt's leg for reasons that are beyond your understanding, and I just kind of walked around until she died, and I was a little annoyed that she used a few cold arrows here and there, but that didn't really affect my run all too much, so I'm gonna try not to dwell on it. So anyone that says, oh, but your mercenary used skills, run failed, screw you guys. You have no idea what I went through, okay? Alright, let's keep going.
Hello.
After saving Kane, I immediately started looking for the tower, because some Countess runs are in order. I basically can't really do this challenge without the Steel Rune Word, Ancient's Pledge, and Stealth. Or at least, I didn't look up a guide, by the way. This is all like me planning things out and kind of like going with what I think would or would not work. And yeah, just kind of went with what made sense. So I think I did around 20 Countess runs. Okay, so I don't know if it's 20, but I definitely stayed here until level 17. So I got quite a few runes, I got quite a bit of gold, I got basically all the rune words and bases that I needed for now, with the exception of the flail base for steel, which I'm going to be getting in Act 2 from shopping it from the merchants. So yeah, obviously killing the Countess wasn't really difficult. It was quite easy, especially with the javelins I had. It's getting to her that took the time, but yeah, it's still relatively easy to do in normal difficulty. You know, Act 1. Act 1 is the easiest one. It gets a lot harder though. I have no idea how I'm gonna kill the Ancients, I have no idea how I'm gonna kill Diablo, and quite frankly, I have no idea if I'm gonna survive the bear waves. But we'll see. Now queue up a Countess killing montage. It's now time to show off my gear and stats. I'm currently level 17, and as you can see, my damage is pretty good when it comes to Act 1 normal difficulty without using any skills. I am 60 at Vitality, 54 at Strength, 47 at Dex. I probably should have more Dex. As a weapon, I'm using 2 Gemmed Scepters with, the poison damage. I'm using poison damage and an ith cap, 40 Strength Amulet, normal leather armor, nothing special. 2 ruby scepter, this attack rating gloves, 12 attack rating replenish life ring, lightning resist belt, 1 maximum damage attack rating ring, and some crappy boots. So I made a stealth rune word on hard leather armor with the Tau and Eth. And as you can see, I've also prepared 2 steel rune words right here for when I get the flail base in Act 2, and this is just kind of my other weaponry. These are all the gems I found throughout the Countess runs, and these are all the rejuve potions I have prepared, and these are all the runes I got from all the Countess runs I did. Yeah. It's time to kill the smith. He wasn't too difficult to kill. Pathetic even.
I should take this to Jackson.
Derp derp derpity derp 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 derpity derp speed derp move speed derp derpity derp 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 speed derp. Nothing interesting happened in the jails. It was just a bunch of wasted time. It was me just having fun with my weapons and just whacking stuff. It wasn't difficult, it was rather easy, normal for barbarian. Here we are in the cathedral. It's time to kill Andario. You can never be too careful in hardcore, even though I was kind of reckless here, but I decided to clear the 2 rooms first so I can have room to fight her one-on-one. Here she is, the beauty. I start by throwing a few javelins at her, and after noticing the decent damage I deal to her, I decided to just go for it. However, I underestimated the damage she would do to me. And so I had my first, let's call it a close call. Even though my poison resistance was maxed out, she dealt a substantial amount of damage to me. So yeah, it's gonna be a while before I drop this low again, but the entire run could have been over here, which is crazy. And I accidentally bought mana potions, which I'm never gonna use. After drinking 5 more antidotes and bringing a few potions in, She was a piece of cake to finish off.
Let the gate be opened.
So there we go. Act 1 is finished without using any skills or abilities. I expected it to be easy, and so it was. I found another jewel of poison, 20 poison damage over 2 seconds in the Act 2 sewers, which is rather useful. By the way, you're going to see a lot of bad inventory management and unnecessary charm hoarding in this game, because I suck at it. So if you have inventory OCD, just look away whenever it happens. It's just kind of my thing. So we're in Act 2, and already stuff seems more dangerous, because these archers just dealt half of my health, and there was like 5 of them now. But yeah, the sewers weren't too difficult to clear, and even Radamant, who's usually a challenge in normal difficulty, ended up falling quickly. I successfully managed to shop out 2 flails with 2 open sockets from Farah after a few resets, and Radamant wasn't an issue, like I said. I just kind of went straight for him, and the 50% chance to open wounds plus the poison damage were more than enough to bring him down rather quickly. And after he died, his minions, you know, died to his, let's call it, boss explosion. Then I got a totally useful book of skill that was totally amazing for me, and I definitely used. It's still nice that at least now I have discounts with all the merchants in Act 2.
I've just about had my fill of the Walking Dead.
We are now in the Halls of the Dead level 1 in search for the most important item in the game, the Horadric Cube. It's going to allow me to both combine runes and gems and make full rejuvenation potions. Enemies are a little bit tougher here as shockers are introduced, and so are hollowed ones, which raise undead from the dead. And yeah, it's a rather slower process dealing with them, which isn't a problem right now, but it will be later. So bear with me here. This is going to be quite the difficult journey. The reason I'm speeding up so much footage, junk footage, so that you can see instead of cutting it off, is because I want to show at least some of it, so that you guys know this run is legit. And this run took a little over 20 hours to do, because it's really slow, and you need to be careful in a lot of areas, and obviously I'm playing hardcore, which is making it even slower. So that's why I'm not showing off many of the areas, or much, just kind of like fighting random stuff. Instead, I'm either cutting it off or speeding up, junk footage like that. For example, there's these boss packs right here that are like totally meaningless fights. And it was difficult enough, like, compressing, only the highlights in this video, but I will be releasing a full, mostly unedited run of this, very soon. That I will leave the link in the description as soon as it is done. It's basically this full run, completely unedited. It's just you know, the different parts put in together, so you can see the whole 20+ hour thing if you want to know that I did it legitimately, and at no point did I put any points in or remove any attributes points from, you know, the pluggy thing. It's just not how I roll. I am in this for the challenge and to find out whether this is even possible. So here we are in the most annoying area in the game. Maggot Lair level 3. Surprisingly, this area wasn't too difficult. I had little issues with the Maggot Lair level 1 or 2. Even though I'm a melee character and it was slow, it didn't really bother me all that much. So here I am right here. I believe I had a close call with the poison here and got dropped to like 1 HP or something, but that always happens to me here and never really died. But yeah, I should have probably been more careful around Cold Worm's explosion. But didn't really anticipate that I would get poisoned down to like 1 HP or something. Yeah.
I can't carry anymore.
We are now in the Lost City and someone cut the power off. And I'm here to find out who it was. So let's go look for those damned claw vipers. Surprisingly, Claw Viper Temple wasn't too difficult. I expected the Vipers to deal a lot more damage to me than they did, but they hardly ever stunned me, and even though I had a few close calls here and there, it wasn't anything too stressful that I wasn't prepared for. Having the Horadric Cube really helped out because now I had permanent access to full rejuvenation potions, which I'm going to use sparingly, but it's always good to have that panic button available. So Claw Viper Temple level 2 was really weird. There were a lot of skeletons, which I didn't expect, and you know, the guys that raised them. But after a little bit of ring around the rosy, I managed to kill everything, including Fangskin, relatively easily. Welcome to the palace. This area, I really don't want to talk about. I spent a lot more time in here than I should have, just kind of fighting enemies that weren't worth fighting. Um, I had pretty much quite a bit of close calls here. You will see if you want to, if you're interested, when I upload the full thing, but it's nothing interesting, trust me. It's just, you know, kind of me running around, killing stuff, then almost dying to it. But as soon as I found the portal, I kind of entered it. We are now in the Arcane Sanctuary, and surprise, surprise, I actually first wayed the Summoner. Spoiler alert. Uh, it hardly ever happens to me. Recently a friend and I started playing again and it happened again, but it's rather lucky that I didn't have to go through these narrow pathways with a melee character. He died quickly. He luckily didn't have much chance of getting me. But yeah. I am using 2 steel rune words as a dual wielding weapon, by the way. But before Duriel, I wanna switch to Ancient's Pledge, which I did just now. With the access of the Herodric Cube, I can turn 3 Rao runes into an Ort. Then I just kind of shopped out a 3 open socket kite shield from Farah and made Ancient's Pledge. My damage is still roughly the same, but my survivability is a hell of a lot higher. I just noticed I don't have it equipped right now, but it's fine. Oh yeah, this is a close call I had with Beetles in Taurash's Tomb. Taurash's Tomb, by the way, horrible in this challenge. It's just so many enemies, such an enemy density, and skeletons are getting raised. Even though you're killing stuff quickly, you're getting killed even quicker. It's just it went so badly. It's difficult as fuck. I hated it. I hated every second of it. But as soon as I found Duriel's doorstep, I was eager to get in. Trust me on that. These are the kind of situations that I got myself stuck into during Taurash's Tomb. Again, the entire run could have ended here. I thought about save exiting, but opted out of it. This is pretty much the lowest I've gotten so far. They managed to poison me down to 1. But yeah, if you're going to be attempting this challenge, please consider a mercenary. Don't be an idiot like me, and also don't do it on hardcore. I will allow it on softcore. If you want to attempt this challenge yourself, be careful in Taurash's Tomb. That's basically what I'm saying. So at this point I still wasn't really used to enemy kiting really well. But even if I was, there aren't many enemy areas to kite the enemies to, so you can take them down one by one. And even if they were, the Unravelers would just raise all the enemies, because all the enemies in here are undead. But yeah, it was quite the pickle. I'm happy it ended up as successfully as it did. But this has definitely been the hardest area so far, by a long shot. I finally made it to Taurash's chamber after exploring the entire place and almost dying around 5 times. And I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. I felt like PewDiePie during his Minecraft Hardcore series when, you know, he almost dies every episode. I was certain that I would die to either Durio or Diablo or the Ancients. Those were like the 3 things I was really afraid of. So if the run was ending, it was basically ending here. And it was quite the difficult battle, indeed. I bought a lot more thawing potions than I should have, but yeah, I was scared, and rightfully so. I didn't have double swing, I didn't have shouts, I didn't have anything basically. All I had was my Ancient's Pledge and a flail, and I kinda had to left click at Durio at all times, kinda just hope for the best. I hugged the wall so he wouldn't stun me too much. But I did drop pretty low, as you will see right here. But in all honesty, looking back at it now, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. I thought it would have been much worse. The thawing potions helped a lot, and so did rejuve potions. I didn't even have to go back to town for him. So, yeah, that's a win. Durio was dead. Even though I had a closer call with Andario, this took longer and was really uncomfortable. It's one of those situations you hate fighting bosses for long periods of time. But yeah, I was excited as all hell. Yet another act conquered, as you can see. It's now time to go to Act 3. And Act 3 was horrible. It was so bad. But before we get into it, here's like a quick look at my gear. I made a new stealth, magic fighting amulet, ancient's pledge, this belt that Andy dropped, this ring, these gloves, and yeah, charm hoarding has begun. I have a lot of faster hit recovery, which helps, especially since I'm a melee character. I have an extra steel in there, and yeah, let's go. Let's go face the Dark Wanderer right here in the Spider Forest. Yeah, look at him. I'm body blocking him. It's epic. But yeah, I'll show you the problem with Act 3 in a second. So that was just 5 monsters and they got me solo. So the problem now is there are way too many enemies. Enemy density is going stronger. I am surrounded by fetishes most of the time. My chance to hit is 70% on most of the things because my attack rating isn't high enough, nor is my level for that matter. It was horrible. So this is a problem of Act 3. It's just, you have to fight every enemy one by one. They deal a lot of damage to you. If you don't fight, you can't really skip the fetishes because they're faster than you. I mean, you can, but then I also need the experience because I need the levels. Not because of the skill points or anything, because I don't have any skill points equipped. It's just I need that dexterity. I need that vitality. I need those stats rolling. And I need them badly. So levels are more important than ever in this. And so is that's part of the reason why I'm keeping so many charms. It's just I can use any help that I can get. Um, I need it desperately. It's getting difficult, but we finally made it to the spider cavern. It was horrible in there too, as you will see. I had quite the close call here with Srak the Burning and his minions. I was cursed, and instead of running away, I decided to fight 3 enemies at once. A little bit of advice if you decide to do this run for yourself, or, attempt this challenge. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm world first here, so um, I'm gonna be making the rules, but don't go without the mercenary. It's just not worth it. It's so difficult. I decided to stick without a mercenary because because I felt like I already needed to commit to that. But yeah, try to fight enemies one by one if you can. There's the flare dungeon. It wasn't too difficult in there. It's just stupid flares. Had a few close calls in there too. I also found Eisenhart's. That's interesting. But yeah, a little bit of advice. Just using mercenary is fine by me if you're going to attempt this run. But if you want it to be as clear as possible, opt out of the mercenary and kind of try to guide or kite the enemies as fast as possible, like as far away from each other as possible, and take them into small groups, one by one if possible. Here is Stormtree, for example, which is a very clear example of any boss back in Act 3 and beyond. It just takes forever to beat. I am not kiting them correctly, and part of the reason for that is because I skipped some enemies behind me, and it's just multiple enemies at once will just kick your ass. You will die, and be very careful. So it's going to be slow, it's going to be difficult, and I thought about giving up many times during this act because I hate Act 3 normally because of the maps. Enemies are cool and all, but this run has really made me appreciate enemies even more, because enemies I was having no problems with in normal runs with skills and stuff. I am finding these enemies extremely difficult now, and one of the clear examples for that are the fetishes, the grotesques in Act 4, and kind of enemies that you would never expect would deal as much damage to you as they do, because you don't have any skills available. I don't have any masteries, I don't have any passive skills, I don't have any attack rating for that matter. All of my resistances are coming from gear. It's just all my damage is coming from gear and from my basic attacks. It just makes you appreciate it even more. And every boss I killed filled me with motivation, and every elite pack. But then again, the harder it got, the harder it felt, if that makes any sense. So here we are in the Ruined Temple. I was, casually killing things, and suddenly there were a lot of beasts around me, probably around 20 or so. I just decided to show this off because I thought it was interesting. I've never seen so many beasts in one place all at once. Yeah, it was an interesting area. I finally got my hands on Lamessen's tome and I brought it straight to Alcor to get the extra 5 attributes because, once again, I need those stats badly.
May this book lift the shadow from Karest.
Should be no surprise to you guys that the sewers were horrible. There were dolls, there were shockers, it was hard, but I made it to level 2. What really helped was that enemy density wasn't as bad as in other areas of this act so far, so I wasn't getting surrounded all as much. But yeah, I made it to level 2 probably easier than I completed the Flare dungeon, honestly. But yeah, that's about it. The council at Travancore had me terrified, so I cleared the entire area out of enemies before attempting to fight them. So my plan here was to drag the council members one by one if possible so I can fight them safely. And it worked. Of course it took forever to kill a single council member, but it still worked, kind of, because we were alone 1v1ing most of the time. Some of them I wasn't able to split up, but another area that I was worried about was this one, and I'm happy to say, unlike many of the areas like the Flare Dungeon, the Spider Forest, and stuff like that, this one was actually easier than I expected. To be completely honest with you, when starting this run, I didn't think I would end up smashing the compelling orb and entering Durance of Hate, which was horrible. Oh my god, Durance was so bad. Yeah, just, I don't want to talk about it once again. Expect it to be really difficult in there. I'm not gonna show much of it, just the part in level 3, but yeah, those Bloodlords are extremely annoying to deal with. The dolls hurt like hell, and the big dudes, they surround you. It's just not a fun time. It's not having any skills is like, yeah, difficult. It was now time to kill Mephisto, and I'm happy to say he was less tanky than Durio, but dealt more damage to me than him. It was still relatively an easy fight, all things considered. I did have like a few close calls, but I have rejuvenation potions. What makes me really sad is that I kill him too slowly to consider doing Mephisto runs for better gear. So Mephisto runs are off the question. If I had Kliggauss set uh, in this challenge, I would have had no problems whatsoever. But unfortunately I don't, and I have to make use with what I have, and that's part of the fun of Diablo 2. If I could have farmed Mephisto I would have, but I figured it would just take way too much time to do so. With Mephisto dead, I was now determined. We are halfway through the game, and yet another act is finished. However, welcome to hell. Literally and figuratively. Act 4 is every problem I've had so far, multiply that by 6 and add more damage to it. It's just every small or large, every single enemy is threatening to me. Enemy density is horrible in the outer steps and the plains of despair. Killing everything is out of the question. Now it's all about running. And I have to kill Izual. Part of the rules is to complete every quest in the game, regardless if it's optional. And killing Izual is a quest, so I have to kill Izual. So what I decided to do was I cleared the plains of despair as much as I possibly could. It was hard as hell. Many close calls. I almost ran out of gold buying potions and repairing gear in here. It was so bad. But in Plains of Despair, as soon as I got there, I decided to immediately start clearing the entire area. And here's a boss pack that took forever, just so you can know what I've been, going up against. So my Iswal strategy was pretty similar to that of the High Council. Just kill everything in the area so I can make room to fight him one-on-one. And that's exactly what I did. And it sort of worked. Was any of this boring or painful? Yeah, that's what I went through. But I finally made it to Iswal and slowly guided him all the way back to the beginning where everything was dead, so I could fight him one-on-one. I tried to fight him using this ethereal spear, but I was hardly ever hitting him and my attack speed was horrible, so I quickly decided to switch back to my flail with my Ancient's Pledge. And with every character, killing Iswal the first time just takes forever, so yeah, it took forever.
Two hours later.
Oh, you're still here. Yeah, I'm still fighting Iswal. Yeah.
One eternity later.
Oh, he's dead. I'm sorry. I had fallen asleep and kind of left my finger on the left click button. Yay. Alright, what's next? River of Flame, yeah. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Like I said, enemy density, getting surrounded, many close calls, pit lords, abyss knights, grotesques. Ouch. All of them horrible. Absolutely terrifying. So I decided to go straight for the waypoint in River of Flame and then go back and look for the smith, which is kind of the smart thing to do, because I was avoiding a lot of enemies now. This is how long it took to kill a single pack, and it's forever. And I'm gonna be speeding up some things here as well, but long story short, hell was literal hell. This is by far the hardest act of the bunch. All 5 acts, this is the hardest. So when you get here, you have to be prepared to have much patience, a mercenary if possible, and yeah, a lot of sanity that you're going to lose. Yay! I finally made it to the smith, but there were just way too many enemies, and the smith had a holy shock aura equipped. It was impossible to kill him, so I was forced to save and exit. Still, that gave me the opportunity to hope for a better enemy composition, because pit lords, no thank you. Doom knights, no thank you as well. And of course grotesques, fuck these guys, they're just so bad. I hate them so much, it's just horrible. As you can see, I had quite a few close calls here where the entire run could have ended, but that's what you get for playing without any skills. The second time around, surprisingly, the enemies were not as bad, or at least not nearly as bad. There were Morphines, Urdars, and stuff like that. But yeah, I used the same strategy I did on Iswal and the High Council, and I managed to kite Fasto the Armorer far enough from the Hellforge to kill him one-on-one. It was relatively easy to do, it just took a lot of time. It was now time to enter the Chaos Sanctuary, and I was greeted by a bunch of Doom Knights. They went down relatively quickly. Grand Vizier was a lot easier to kill than I expected. If this looks slow to you guys, yeah, I'm kinda used to it by now. I mean, you get used to not dealing any damage and not doing stuff fast. It's all about doing the deed and surviving at the same time. So no problems, or at least no substantial problems with Grand Vizier. Decize was actually harder to kill than Grand Vizier. He was surrounded by his Death Knights, Doom Knights, I'm sorry, and it was really difficult to separate them from him. But once I did that and managed to take him one-on-one, he wasn't anything too special. I was really nervous for Infector. Venom Lords dealt a lot of damage to me, and those were fast as oh hell. I thought it would be impossible to split the pack up, but to my surprise, it worked out quite well. I had already killed everything in the Chaos Sanctuary, so that I can secure myself, you know, a 1v1 with any of the super uniques that spawn here if need be. And surely enough, that need arrived with Infector. If I hadn't killed the enemies here, I wouldn't have stood a chance. But I did manage to separate him from the pack and kill him off. After the final Venom Lord was dead, it was now time to kill Diablo. And out of respect, I'm going to leave this fight, like, unedited. It's just purely unedited. It's the pure scene. All of the misplays you're going to see happened. All of the difficulty is there. I just want you to see that this is legit, and it was, let's just say this is the hardest Diablo fight I've ever had by a long shot. It's just 12-year-olds that spend 20 minutes killing Diablo, I understand.
to you, champion.
Diablo is dead. This has been the hardest fight so far. His lightning attack dealt an incredible amount of damage. He's hard to kill on normal difficulty with any character, but that... Yeah, I'm speechless. I didn't expect to get so far. Anyway, here we are in Act 5. I got word from the barbarians that Shrek was invading their privacy, so I went to kill him. There's Shrek right there. But yeah, in all honesty, I didn't expect to kill Diablo and get this far, so we're in the end game, boys. If I die now, it will have all been for nothing. Again, I have to complete every quest. I'm not going to complete, or at least finish the sockets quest from Larzuk in case I decide to do something with this character in the future and I need the sockets. But I'm still going to kill Shank, as you can see right here, and I'm still going to talk to Larzuk, so that's technically completing the quest, but with the exception of getting the reward. But yeah, it's if you're gonna be fighting Diablo, be careful. He hurts like hell.
The siege is broken.
After rescuing the barbarians and nothing interesting happened, I got to the crystalline passage, and oh my god. This is how long it took to kill a minion of these guys. A minion. First off, I have a 40% or like 40 to 50 something percent chance to hit these guys. Second, they have natural regeneration. Third, they hurt like hell. And I mean that seriously. Saving Anya is... I don't even know what to compare it to in terms of difficulty. I had to juke all the enemies. You will see. But yeah, Crystalline Passage and overall the ice caves in Act 5 were really bad. The open areas and the Throne of Destruction were not as bad as this right here.
Salutations.
At your
After around 6 attempts, and yes, 6 attempts, I finally made it to the frozen river, and I had a plan. I was going to drag all of these enemies that I simply couldn't kill, and my idea was to put them in a corner kind of like this, and many of the times I ended up trapping myself, so I had to reset it. But yeah, Anya's on the other side of this bridge, and I actually managed to get all the Yetis out of there at once. And here I quickly pop a portal, but I forget to talk to Anya, so I quickly go back, and then I talk to her, open a portal, and yeah, I didn't expect this to be as difficult as it was. It's just the enemies here, they hurt, they're really difficult to kill. I don't want to say impossible, but it's really close to impossible. I've tried my best to kill one of every enemy type I've encountered. But these guys are horrible. I did kill like 1 or 2 of them, but it's just so bad. So I kind of cheesed my way out of that one. I got the Scrolls of Resistances and consumed it. And I successfully rescued Anya. I had many close calls in there that I just had to edit out because we're already almost at an hour and a half in the video. Yeah, and I killed Pindoskin for the first and only time. That's about it.
I can't carry anymore.
I expected Nilathog to be an easy fight. Boy oh boy was I wrong. This guy actually took around 5 attempts to kill. Not because he deals a lot of damage to me or anything, but because he can teleport and because my chance to hit him is pretty low, something along the lines of 60%, and his Arctic Blast is freezing me, and his minions that he spawns so annoyingly do a lot of damage to me, and I did not expect this to be as difficult as it was. Eventually, he managed to get me as low as I have ever been, I believe. With the exception of those 2 times when the poison damage got me to 1 HP. But this is the closest call I've had in the entire run. I hit escape in a heartbeat. And if I had missed it, right there, yeah. If I had missed it, the entire run was over, and it was all for nothing. It was so terrifying. However, I got really angry at him, and I kept trying again and again. This time I was careful, and I was ready to press escape at any time. My left hand was just, I was out of potions. So I immediately go to my... I'm not risking it, by the way. The entire run is not gonna die on Nilathog. I still need to face the Ancients. Nilathog's not gonna be my greatest challenge, or so I said to myself. But Nilathog is, no joke, the hardest boss in this run. One, because he's really difficult to get to. Because you have to, you know, survive large enemy density areas. 2, because of his Arctic Blast and Corpse Explosion and minions that are attacking you. And 3, because he teleports. But eventually, I did it. I killed Nilathog. This was so satisfying. This was, I believe, more satisfying than killing Diablo for me at the time.
A fitting death for a traitor.
After dropping a lot of potions on the ground and a lot of preparation, it was now time to kill the Ancients. And I swear, I was certain I would die here. This was the fight that I was most scared of. I was not scared of the Bale waves, I was not scared of Bale. I was kinda scared of Diablo, but this is where I thought I would die. Until I did this. I somehow managed to separate all 3 of the Ancients and get Maddox stuck in a walk animation. Without a teleport staff, mind you. And so, from that point on, I just kind of wailed at Korlik until he died. I just took full advantage of that. My only concern at this point was, because I was cornered, was running out of potions. But I had filled up my inventory. I was fine. But yeah, like stalking Maddox there was really good for me. I did not this was pure luck, by the way. No skill was used in this. The remaining 2 Ancients I wasn't able to separate, so eventually I kind of just went with it and stuck myself to another wall so Talik wouldn't spin around me anymore. And this is all the potions I brought, by the way. Yeah, I stuck against the wall and I killed Talik while Maddox was throwing shit at me, and it wasn't that bad. This is me trying to separate them and ring around the rosing, but it didn't work, or when it did, Maddox would keep like kite mechanic in me, and that was annoying. So yeah, I just kind of went with it at one point, and it's just I'm speechless to how this worked out. Against Steel and Ancient's Pledge, I haven't changed my gear at all. I did not expect this to happen.
I am overburdened.
I managed to corner Maddox so he wouldn't run. And the hardest fight in the game was one just like that. I had more difficulties killing Nilathak than killing the Ancients, and I'm actually proud of myself at this one. If I hadn't separated him in the beginning, it wouldn't have gone nearly as well as it did. But I'm happy. This has definitely been an amazing run so far. Now it's time to kill Bale, and I actually have a surprise for you guys. At the Bale waves, I am actually planning on killing every single minion that spawns, and I mean that for all the waves. So nothing interesting happened in the Worldstone Keep. Stuff was actually relatively easy to kill, surprisingly, in there. So I decided to clear the entirety of the Throne of Destruction. You will see, actually. So here we are on the Throne of Destruction. I have much work to do in here. I want to kill every single enemy. I will show you why. I want to have room to fight all the waves and be able to kite them out one by one if I have to. Yeah, I didn't really face any difficulties here. It just took around 10 minutes to kill everything. So, yeah. We finally made it to Bale's Laugh. So the first wave was easy. Just as always, it's just a bunch of Fallens and a Shaman. I was surprised, however, how much more difficult it is without using any skills. If I had like Whirlwind or Double Swing here, this would have been a piece of cake. But I had none of those. I didn't have any shouts as well. All I had were health potions or basic attacks. But yeah, they went down easy. Second wave, also pretty easy. For third, fourth, and fifth wave, I used an alternative strategy. Because I killed every enemy in the Throne of Destruction area, I had more than enough room to kite the enemies one by one and fight them in a pretty much safe environment. I was also far away from Vale's Decrepify Curse, which is annoying and unplayable on my character because he just slows my everything. So council members went down extremely quickly. I had used all of my knowledge that I had learned from fighting all the council members from Travancore, Mephisto's lair, etc. So the next wave, however, was a lot harder than I expected. These guys are quick, they hit hard, and they are so difficult to split up. Eventually, though, they go down just as easy. The fifth wave, however, now that's some of the toughest enemies in the game, if not the toughest enemies in the game.
Good afternoon.
At your service.
Believe it or not, this next wave took longer to kill than Diablo, Mephisto, and Durio combined. This wave took around 25 minutes to kill. And the reason for that was a single minion took around 3 minutes to kill. I spent a good 5 minutes trying to separate these guys, and it kept on not working. It's just they kept two of them just wouldn't go out of Lister's sight. And a single minion of destruction, first off, it dealt a lot of damage. I had to hug the wall. It's basically like fighting Durio 6 or 7 times. I don't remember how many the minions are. But you have to hug a wall and kind of pray they attack you one by one and not 2 at a time, because you can't handle 2 at a time. You simply don't have enough sustain for that. So this is Lister. I actually had to go back to town multiple times, mind you, to pot up, because he hits too hard. And not only that, but he also regenerates health, which the poison doesn't do enough to prevent, neither does the open wounds. He also stuns me and stuff like that, because why not? Anyway, eventually I am able to take down every single minion of destruction, and it's time to fight Bale. This has definitely been the hardest fight so far though, only comparable to Nilathak and the Ancients in Diablo in terms of difficulty. This is how much damage I was dealing to a minion of destruction. Yeah. Yeah, it was painful.
Salutations.
Can I help you?
This is it, guys. Above 20 hours of documented footage. Countess runs to level 17. Eldritch runs to level 27. Killing Nilthak, killing Diablo, rescuing Anya. It has all been for this moment. If I kill Bale now, I will be the first documented YouTube video that has completed Diablo 2 with Lord of Destruction by not using any skills or abilities whatsoever, or Mercenary for that matter. So, Bale. Bale has, wait, let me pull this up actually. 26,484 hit points. Which divided my max damage, if I'm dealing 70 damage each time I hit him, I need to hit him successfully a total of 378 times. We'll make that 379 to be more specific. But it's a really lengthy fight. It took around 18 full minutes to kill Bale. Here and there I just kind of go ahead and unspeed the video so you can see how long it takes to kill him. He cloned himself twice, I think, and I even managed to kill one of the clones, so yeah, world first clone basic attack kill, I think. But yeah, if any of you have ever basic attacked Bale to death, please let me know. And if you guys want to attempt this challenge, do it. I want to see you guys doing it. I want to see how other people do it. Maybe I've done many things wrong. Maybe I've made it harder for myself on many accounts. Maybe there's a way to do this without struggling as much as I did. So I challenge you guys. Document your basic attack run. And Mr. Llama, if you ever see this, I dare you to make a speedrun of this game based on this challenge, because it took me 20 hours to complete. It was horrible and comparable to classic Diablo 2, where they were not selling any mana potions. Any speedrunner out there who would like to attempt this, this is my challenge to you guys. Can you beat Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction without using any skills or abilities? I will shut up now and let the fight play out, and let's find out the answer. When Bale drops, we will be the first player who has ever done this I want to thank you guys for watching. This video project took a lot of time to finish, so please leave a like if you enjoyed it or a dislike if you didn't. And leave a comment with feedback. Tell me what I did wrong, tell me what I did right. And please do attempt this for yourself. This has been quite the fun challenge. There we go, Bear was officially down. So I can safely, confidently say it is possible to beat Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction without using any skills or abilities. Now, if this video gets, I don't know, like 100 likes or something, I guess I'll do cows with this character. What I do want you to let me know though is, do you want me to continue this character in Nightmare difficulty? Where, mind you, I will be using a mercenary in Nightmare, probably, because I honestly believe it's impossible otherwise in there. I am down to attempt it, and if you don't want it to be the exact same run, like without using skills or abilities, maybe give me another idea. For example, a leap attack barbarian or something. As you can see, I have no skills in any of the skill trees. You can pause the video and confirm that for yourself if you want. It took forever, and yeah, we've overcome the greatest challenge the world has ever faced. This is easily the hardest thing I've ever done in a video game, by the way. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it if you made it this far and watched all the way through to the end. This game is phenomenal. Anyone who hasn't played Diablo 2, now's a great time to get into it, because Resurrected is coming out soon after. I will now be known as Destroyer. I'm dead. Wow. Yeah, like when Diablo 2 Resurrected drops, we're definitely going to be playing it. Let me know what you want to see in the future in terms of Diablo content. I mean, I'll try spicing up the Wisdom of the Bard videos with something else. The reason I haven't been uploading many videos is because I've been working on this project for so long now. It took nearly a month to finish this video. But now we have a documented, legit Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction run without using any skills or abilities. And I will upload like the full, mostly unedited thing later on, by the way, so don't worry. But that's gonna just take some time to render, so I'll probably do that next week or something. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Once again, any speedrunner out there, I challenge you to do this, to attempt it. And any of you guys, if you wanna try it out, go ahead. Please leave feedback, like, comment, subscribe, and I love you, and I'll see you next time. Such is the wisdom of the Bard.